And we're back. Woo! I'll tell you what, these driving versions of my video series are my favorite. I feel like I get the best ideas and the most amount of flow in a few areas of life. Number one, while I'm on stage doing comedy, definitely. Number two, maybe even number one, because on stage it's a little bit more refined. You know, it's more rehearsed and stuff. A lot less improvisation. There you go. Number one is probably got to be on the phone. And if not number one, that'll be number two. And the third one is right here, right now. Live with you guys. It's not really live, but it's fun to say. So, got to go to the post office. You know, I really wish you could just print off a stamp. I'm pretty sure there's a way to do it, but whatever. Here I am kind of complaining. I don't want to admit that I'm complaining. I'm not, but I don't want to go to the post office, but I got to drop this shit off. Just a bill, blah, whatever. Surprise. And I figured, you know what? Got some stuff I got to say. Might as well get it off my chest, so here we go. I had a comedy show in Waco, Texas, on Sunday. I've been looking forward to it, and I kind of had like mixed reviews as far as how I did. I said in a previous video, you know, you gotta, let me roll this window up a little bit. I said in a previous video, in all honesty, guys, that it's not impossible. It's very possible. It's very easy to give yourself a critical review in a positive way without being bragging, provided by it's the truth, okay? Now, here's the flip side of that. If you're only giving yourself positive reviews, probably not telling the truth. When I did comedy 2 times ago at like a bigger show, I had made a comment that I always try to be the best. And I look at everything as far as a competition with myself, but the others around me. I want to be the best one in the room, and it's more than that. I gotta be, because I'm obsessed about this, about all of it, comedy-wise. And I want to have the loudest laughs and the most frequent of those loudest laughs. Not just like once, and out of the whole show everything sucked. And I did not meet my goal. I was not the best guy in the room. There was this guy that was performing excellently. I messed up saying excellently, but that is, you know, I left that place, and the first thing that I said, no lie, I said I got to get better. And it kills me, not that I have to get better, I always know that, but it kills me not to be the best in what I'm most passionate about, and that is comedy. So, you know, it's not that, it was a weird situation. So, the guy there, maybe he got charity laughs. I don't think he did, because I was laughing at his jokes. Again, this is an honest assessment. This isn't me being a hater. I am a hater, for real. I'm very honest about it. I'm very honest about everything. Damn it. Fix this just. Fucking video just turned off. I'm sorry, guys. I'll have to do a part 1 and part 2 of this. Anyway, but like I was saying, for my phone cut off for no fucking reason, was that this guy performed excellently, and I didn't do the best. The worst and best thing that could ever happen for me is to have a negative experience, because I get angry and motivated and pissed into doing better, and then I do better. I perform better, and I work harder and stuff like that. And that's just how I am. That's my dynamic. And I'm always kind of pissing on myself. Let me rephrase that. Giving myself shitty critiques, because I always want to be better, and I always know I can do better. But this, I didn't have to, and that's on the days that I do really good. And I had such a mixed review. I had one guy tell me that I did excellent, you know, but everybody else there were a few weird things that happened, okay? And I wish this could all be in one video, but it's not. So, sorry guys, whatever, deal with it. So here's the thing. Everything was going smooth and good until I came to this one joke where I talk about black people. Now, the joke is not about black people, okay? The joke, the premise of the joke is the fact that I look like I'm Russian. Russians are being demonized in America, okay? Always looking guilty, always suspicious. I mean, think about it. Ever since ever, America has always had all of its films with the starring country of opposition. Stereotypically is always Russia. For good reason, for bad reason, whatever. It always is. Think about it. Rocky, freaking, all the spy films, all that shit. So anyway, and I'm going to be doing a lot of comedy about that coming up because I went to college there. I lived there for like a year and a half. Loved it. A lot of great experiences, tons of funny stories. But anyway, so the joke is about the fact that I look like I'm guilty just because of my color that I am and my pale complexion, and you know, I just look like a straight up Russian. And I said, and basically, and I'm not saying how it goes, but basically I'm comparing it to how black people feel and how it's not right, and I don't support it. And comedy, I'm pretty sure I had to have said this before, is like a jigsaw puzzle, because I felt like the way I delivered it, it wasn't coming across as racist, but it was coming across as confusing because they didn't really understand the fact that, like the way I said it, I didn't say black people, I said like something about like Russian is the new black. And they're thinking, and their faces didn't have an expression of discontent or being upset or angry or whatever. It was just sort of like, they were kind of like confused. Now, another time that I said that, and I phrased it differently, somebody looked at me as far as like me being racist. And it's a weird thing as far as like racism goes, because even if I'm not black, it's like, well, what can I talk about? Can I talk about that, you know, that I've dated black women, that my wife is not white, my wife is mixed? I mean, she's a very beautiful, tan-skinned, beautiful girl. You know, it's just, it's weird as shit, you know? Certain things are not necessarily off limits, but it's just, it's just so weird as shit. And the joke has nothing to do about black people. It has to do about the fact that now there's another group of people that are getting that demonization of looking guilty and stuff like that. I know it's 2019 and it's not like that now the way it used to be like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, whatever. But, you know, and it's a rarity for something like that to happen, but, you know, it's more challenging to make a joke about something that's sensitive and edgy, which is something I really like, compared to just something that's more topical and very wishy-washy. I like those dark responses of like, that's fucked up, and then flipping it on its head, and then making people laugh because they're like, oh, I thought you were going to say something else, and I don't. It's misdirection. I love that. So it's just, it's such a weird ass thing. I can't really overemphasize this because here's another example. I said this in another video. If I do a Russian accent, looking Russian, not a big deal. If I do a British accent, nobody gives a shit. If I do a black accent, I might get some looks, you know? But if I do an Asian accent, completely off limits. Like, that is fucked up. I don't give a shit. Listen, I love all people. But if I speak the way that someone sounds like from that part of the world, tough fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, deal with it. I mean, come on. What is your problem? Like, why can you just, like, some people, after I said a few Asian jokes, not making fun of Asians, talking about experiences that I've had with my dentist, my Asian dentist, and the way that he talks to me. He's very aggressive and he talks a lot of shit, and we joke around. He's a very nice guy. But if I talk the way he does, you see, what's great about doing accents is you can distinguish who in a conversation, if you're doing both people's voices, who is who. It's really hard to say, he said this, she said that. It's very easy, but then again, it makes it more, you add more flavor to the story by doing an accent. Like, what's up, baby? You know what I'm saying? And my reaction would be like, Yeah, I know what you're saying. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not going to say who that sounded like. You can figure it out and take a guess yourself. You can say it's anybody. But the point is, a lot of people would say what I just said is racist. Or if I do an Asian, well, I'm like, oh, hello, Mr. Welldone. Very nice to meet you. You see what I'm saying? That's like an Asian accent. Why? Because that's what they sound like. You don't have to be like, it's such a weird double-edged sword, because in this like day and age of sensitivity, if you're like a black Asian, I think you're pretty much, you're exempt. You'd also have to be like gay and all this other stuff. It's such a weird thing where it's like people act nowadays like you have to be that thing to talk about that. No, I fucking don't. Guess what? I talk mad shit about everybody. I actually got a lot of new jokes about white people I'm gonna be making fun of. And ironically enough, maybe that's the reason I can get a pass on it. But if a black guy were to be saying it, does that make him racist? No, not at all. Richard Pryor had the best ever white person voice. He was like, well, gee golly, gosh. You see what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things. It's weird. Doesn't make sense. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But fact is that it's not that I care, it's that other people care. And when I did this comedy show, I just got some like mixed looks, and at that point I sort of just feel like it fell off, and I didn't it's not that I didn't perform well, but it didn't go well, you know, to say the least. I messed up some of my lines. I was getting it just was not good. So you know what I did? The second I got out there, I said I got to get better, and I just fucking just put that shit into second gear, and I'm analyzing even more. What is funny about this? What is funny about that? Now, here's the thing. If you get too many people's opinions, it's not in your shit anymore, you know? That's the reason why I have a very select few, very teeny tiny, whose humor is similar to mine, that like my style of comedy, the kind of comedians that I like, and so forth and so on, that I talk with and kind of bounce ideas off with, and stuff like that. Because when I first started telling you about the comedy in Waco, Texas, one of the first things I said was, a guy came up to me and was like, dude, you did excellent. Everybody else just sort of gave me a look like, meh. Now, what if everybody in that room was stylistically, and they didn't buy tickets specifically to see me? It's an open crowd, and that's one of the reasons that you don't want to go make too many major changes when you're doing comedy, or maybe anything in life, but I'm speaking about comedy, so I'm going to stick to what I'm saying. Because if it was a different crowd, you could always blame the crowd and not look at yourself and say you fucked up. You know, you didn't. I know I messed up. My timing was kind of off, and I'm being completely honest. I didn't do. I've done that exact material, and it's worked out 10 times better. Stuff that I already know that works, which is also another reason that I know that it was partially the crowd, but not giving the crowd all the blame. Okay, I'm just being honest. It was a fair evaluation assessment of what really happened. Is that I've said routine stuff that I already know is tight, that I know that works, and they just didn't react to it at all. So maybe, again, I didn't deliver it right or something like that. I mean, it's possible, in all honesty. I highly doubt it. But I also tried out some new material that I haven't tried at other shows, and they laughed at that. So it was still a good experience. Yeah, I just, I'm still working on getting that video for the Big Sky Comedy Festival. I got a show this Thursday at this, it's a bar, but not really. I mean, they do like music venues there and stuff, so I think it's called like a craft house, technically. It's like a big fancy word for a bar. But, yeah, so basically, I'm really working on the wording and trying to structure and phrase everything the best way I can. So my message is clear, it's concise, there's no confusion, and I want people to laugh at the stuff that I'm trying to point at. And part of my job as a comedian is to make sure they're getting the exact point and direction of where the laugh lies. Because by not being too specific, they might think that I'm talking about black people or making fun of Asians. Well, that's not it. I'm not talking about the way my dentist talks. I'm talking about my shitty teeth. okay? Which would make sense because he's a dentist. I'm not talking about, I think I know that guy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do. I'm sorry, I'm in a parking lot. I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about the fact that me coming from DC, all my friends were black, and me, I was the token white guy. Straight up. There's nothing wrong with that. Even to this day, I don't really even have any white friends. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't try to have a quota or ratio, but if I did, I'd have more friends of color than not. And do you know how much I give a shit about it? This much. I don't give a shit. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like in the Army, nobody cares what color you are, just as long as you're wearing green, right? As long as you're not in the fucking Air Force, right? We still love it if you're in the military, but if you're in the Air Force, everyone always sort of like a family. They just sort of talk shit about each other branch. That's like, if you weren't in the military, you don't get it. So anyway, but so that's what I got now. Just want to get that off my chest and let you know that I am aggressive. What I was saying is, I'm letting you know, fucking camera keeps turning off because the heat. It is only 85 degrees outside. My phone's overheating and shit. Anyway, I'm aggressively pushing beyond the past of point of pushing, all right? To not just be better than the best, but to be emphatically just the best, okay? I am beyond dedicated. Words can't compare to the amount of care that I care about it. And I'm not just feeding myself a spoonful of shit. I'm being serious. It means so much to me, and I'm pushing myself so hard to always be the best in comedy. And I truly, words, the only time I won't be able to describe something will be how hard and how much this means to me and how hard I'm pushing. So I know I'm documenting all this on my rise up to comedy and then acting and writing, because I told you I wrote a film script. But have no fear. I'm just pissed in a good way. However you want to take it. When I get angry, like I said, and I get pissed off and everything, I get motivated, and that's just me. That's just how I am. So be on the lookout. I got a set that I have this Thursday, and I just have to figure out the dynamic between whether I mention that one black joke, again, it's not black, about the parallels of what black people used to go through and what I'm currently going through. Now I can understand in a comparative way what it was like, or not. So I got to have the best possible video, and with this angry momentum that I have, just calling it as it is, it only makes me better, truthfully. Joey Diaz, one of my favorite comedians, he says that every time before he goes on stage, he thinks about something, he's genuinely pissed off, and he takes that energy. In that aspect, I'm like that. And Bill Burr, he's very similar in that aspect. And these are just people that I really relate to on that aspect. Not on all aspects, but on that aspect. Not as far as like the way they write jokes, the way their method of working on a bit and jokes and stuff, but that aspect of emotion is definitely me. So anyway, I hope you guys have a really good day. Thank you for your time, and if you like this video, please hit me up on Instagram. Instagram is at Benja, Benja, Welldone, Welldone. And if you got a question about your life, please, I will give you the worst fucking advice you could ever imagine, followed by only for comical relief, okay? And then directly after that, I will follow up with a real legitimate answer, because I think it'd be a fun dynamic thing to add to my YouTube channel. So hope you like this video. Email is Benja, Benja, Welldone, Welldone @gmail.com. Stay tuned for more. I got my show tomorrow night, and I'm gonna crush it. I'm telling you right now, I'm just gonna fucking annihilate it. So, all right, guys, stay black. Peace. I'm out. Bonus edition. You thought we were done? We're not. I was just thinking about something. When I go ranting off and everything, You know, there's a certain freedom of being able to speak and say things that you mean 100%, but sometimes when you try to say it, it can veer off in a wrong direction. I just want to correct the record about something real quick. You know, I am pushing myself to be the absolute best, but I believe in comedy. Everybody with the kind of passion and drive and ambition and whatnot, everything that I know I have inside of me, okay? And, you know, it's sort of weird to say what everybody else has and stuff like that. But what I'm getting at is I made a comment and I said, you know, I want to be the best ever. I'm not like that. And right after I said that, I'm like, I got to go back and correct it. But I was so far down the fucking other line of a conversation, I didn't correct it. Let me fix this video again. Fucking cameras all over the place lately. You know, there's a spot in comedy for a lot of, I don't believe that there's really a best, because there's so much different styles of comedy, and I just wanted to correct that because I don't want to be the next somebody else. I'm working on being the first me. I don't want to be like the next this guy or the next that guy, because there's so many guys that I love and that I emulate and that I really appreciate because of the way that they act and their emotional anger and their humor and how they pause and their storytelling abilities. And I love all of them. That's like saying you can only have one friend, okay? Point is that I'm getting a call right now. Anyway, point is, I want to be my best. I want to be the best ever of my style, genre of comedy, which is not all in one lane of one person. I'm like a little bit of dash of everybody, but like I said before, if I had to pretty much sum it up, it would be like, in this order, more or less: Bill Burr, Joey Diaz, Joe Rogan, Tom Segura, and then Bert Kreischer. Maybe in that order, because stylistically, I'm like a blend of all of those guys when it comes to humor. I'm not saying I'm gonna be, I want to be better than Bill Burr. Well, everybody wants to be better than somebody else, but I didn't mean it that way. And I just wanted to correct to say I want to be the best of, the best ever of my type, because my type of comedy, in my opinion, is unique to the aspect of where it is that blend. And a weird parallel example, you know how in UFC, how you had guys who were like jiu-jitsu specialists or taekwondo specialists? Starting from that order that I just said, I'm kind of a blend of all those comedy styles. It's not really a one style. It really is a mesh, because I go through all sorts of emotions. And a lot of these guys have a very specific style, and they're masters at it. And I want to be a master of all those styles. That's what I'm working on. So that to me is the best. So I just wanted to clarify that, because I'm not a douche, you know, and without finishing that thought after I said it, I would have given the wrong impression. So it meant enough to me to come back and fix the record. So now I'm done. Stay black. I love you all guys. All you all guys. I love all of you guys. And just take care of yourself. And can't wait to talk with you again. All right. See you later, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye. I'm out. Peace.